All right, what is up YouTube? So today I'm going to be reviewing a replay that I had with Speedroids. I just want to showcase this replay because I feel like a lot of people don't see the potential in something like Speedroids, because Speedroids is a deck that can pretty much, with 1 to 2 card, can put out, 2 to 3 negates and have follow-up. And with this deck, you can play a lot of hand traps. So even if you make a small board of like 2 negates or 3 disruptions, you can have like a Ash or a Veiler, and that can be really solid to kind of stop your opponent from OTKing you, and then OTKing them back with a lot of follow-ups that Speedroid does have. So let's review this replay. I'm going against Dodger Wolf. He's like a high-rated player. He's like top 10 or top 15, I'm pretty sure, maybe even top 5 at the moment. But he's playing PKs. That's like a really solid deck in the format. I'll try to get some leerless, replays if we really want to see more Speedroid gameplay. But I win the die roll. I go first. And the opening hands is really good for me. So I have Ash, I have Talents, and I have the Speedroid Will. So this will make me play around hand traps. This will make me play around hand traps. And this is my starter card. This is Ash, and then, Talents if we really had a hand trap. So in this scenario, this is why Talents doesn't really work, because a lot of people are on like these going second cards like droplets. So do keep in mind, if like the format does evolve to where people are playing more hand traps, Talents is very good. But for the most part, I did cut Talents in the deck. I'll give a link to the deck profile or like the updated deck in the description below if you really want to see the deck profile. But let's get on to the replay because I rambled on way too long. So I'm just going to do my standard combo. So I'm going to start off with Will just to bait out a hand trap. He didn't have a hand trap, obviously, but now I get a 5. 5 is really good because that means I get the Daiko Duke in the graveyard, and that can be a possible extender, so I can put up more disruption. So I also have Ash in my hand, which is really good. So I'm lagging. I go into the rubber band shooter. That's going to search for the Yo-Yo or the Terratop. Preferably, you're going to get the Yo-Yo, and I think I do, maybe. I might not get it. It depends. Yeah, I get the Terratop. And that's not bad. That's not terrible. I still haven't used my actual normal summon because I use Will. So I'm in a really good spot right now. I can make pretty much with this hand. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to make pretty much 3 negates plus Ash. So that could be really powerful. So I'm using the effect of Terratop or Taketomborg to special summon the Red Eye Dice. And then Red Eye Dice is going to use the effect to change the level. Go into Cork Shooter. I believe I add the trap card. Yes, I add the trap card so I can have a extra disruption. And then I'm going to go Marble. Marble is going to use this effect. He's going to read the trap, which is it's Compulse. It's really good. It's also follow-up if you don't use the graveyard effect that turn or like the previous turn. And then I go into the Hagota. Then I special summon the Car Turbo. And then I go into the first Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and then I use the effect of Daiko Duke in the graveyard, banish, and then summon back the Kartoble, and then use the effect of Hagota to summon my second Crystal Wing. So the reason why I'm summoning my Crystal Wings in defense is because a lot of people are on Lightning Storm, and Lightning Storm trades very well if you put your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragons in attack position. So instead of like playing into, Lightning Storm, just to have that off chance that your opponent might attack with like a level 5 or higher monster, it just does not come up. So why not play around a very popular card in the main deck at the moment, Lightning Storm. So I put my monsters in defense so I can play around Lightning Storm, which doesn't play around droplets, but you'll see why that is not really powerful against this board. And then I set the duplicate and I pass my turn. So if you realize in my graveyard, I do have a lot of it's not really follow-up. I do have the Hagota in graveyard, which is kind of follow-up. I have the Car Turbo, which is going to be really good for OTKing. And then if he doesn't out my rubber band shooter, that's going to be follow-up as well. And then I do have my top deck. Obviously, I'm going to have my top deck. And if it's a Speedroid monster, I can use duplicate to kind of make it to summon a tuner on the board, and then I can go, Hagota to summon itself on the board. So I do have a lot of follow-up on this field, especially if I top deck a Speedroid monster. It just has to be any Speedroid monster that's not Dice, because you cannot lower the level of the Speedroid monster if it's like level 1. So he's gonna draw into his boots. So he has a really solid hand for going second because he has all engine cards. I guess he has Seer, so that's kind of bad, but and he has Seer and Skarm, so that's kind of really bad. But I mean, this is all gas. You can special summon the Seer, special summon the Skarm, go into like Break Sword and stuff like that. So it's not really that terrible. So moving on to his turn, let's fast forward through this really quick. He's staying here. He's gonna special summon Skarm, obviously, as I said, and then he's gonna special summon the Seer, which is really good. I'm gonna Crystal Wing negate it. The reason why I do this is because if he's doing this, he doesn't really have a good hand. So if I just let him end on a Skarm pass, he's not really going to be able to get a the Cherubuni on the field, or he's not going to be able to go into a rank 3 XYZ. And I don't want to use my Compulse like super soon, because that's going to be like the way that I'm going to not be able to get OTK'd by something like anything really much, because like PKs just throw out so many monsters on board, and I'm kind of saving this for something like Rusty or something in the battle phase, something like any of the XYZ, so he can't go into Zeus. So that is why I'm saving the Compulse and I'm using the Crystal Wing on the Seer, because I realize his hand is not that great, or at least I know that his hand's not as great, because he started off with Seer and Skarm, the 2 bricks. So he's going to use Droplets, discard 2, negate both of the monsters. He's going to special summon the Seer. Seer is going to summon out the Break Sword, and then I'm going to go Compulse it, because he doesn't really have anything else but like potentially a normal summon, which is only going to be Tour Guide, and I have the Ash for the Tour Guide. So even if he does have a follow-up, I can just Ash that. So I do Ash the Tour Guide, and then I'm pretty sure that's a scoop. It's not like a scoop, but because he does have the Trapping Graveyard, but he's not going to have that much to kind of play through my disruptions. He goes into the Break Sword again, just to, you know, go into Zeus, I'm pretty sure. So he goes Downward, he goes Zeus. This is like a really bad spot for me, just because like I don't have guaranteed follow-up, but I do have talents. But it doesn't really work because I don't have Zeus in this deck. So even if like, and he's gonna get a Fog Blade as well. So he's gonna have a Fog Blade and a Zeus, which is like pretty bad. But the good thing about this is that he doesn't have follow-up. So as long as I can maybe draw something really good, I can bait out the Zeus and the Fog Blade, and then potentially get out a negate and like attack with the Zeus. So like that's like the main issue right now, is that like I need to top deck something good. I didn't top deck anything good, but this means that he has to top deck something good as well. So if he doesn't top deck any thing good as well, I still have Imperm and talents to kind of play through his disruption, as well as like the follow-up of Hagota and duplicate in the graveyard. So as long as I can top deck like his a Speedroid monster, like a Marbled Rock or a Ultra Hound, I'm in a good spot. So I pass turn. Obviously, I don't have anything. He doesn't really have anything. Zeus wipes his own field. He did this because I think he did this because he can maybe combo off an OTK. I think he just got a little bit too impatient. I think he was in a good spot if he just attacked, but if he waited for me to like get to a Speedroid monster, I could just like OTK him. So he's in a really tight spot here. I think this is kind of correct right here, because he can't really read that I have like any hand traps. But I mean, he can technically, because I didn't set anything. So I don't know. This is kind of greedy on his part. It's kind of hard to say in hindsight, or without hindsight. But he does play very hard into this this impermanence. So he special summons the Break Sword, and then special summons the Silent Boots. He's going to use the effect of the Isolde add. I'm just going to imperm it. It just doesn't really matter. It's not like he can make a second Isolde, so I'm just going to negate the effect to add a Warrior, so he doesn't have a follow-up. And then he attacks directly with both Isolde and the Zeus. And then he's going to use the effect of Silent Boots to get another Fog Blade from his deck to the graveyard, or from his deck to his hand. My bad. And then he's going to set it in pass turn, pretty much. I'm going to talk deck into Hound, which is going to be really good, because as I said before, it's really good for follow-up. He's gonna think, and then I think he does fog like this. Yeah, that's like really, really good for me because now I can go use the effect of the duplicate. Duplicate is gonna special summon itself in the graveyard, and then it's going to make it level 2. So now I can go into the cork shooter or cork blaster, and then I can get a trap from my deck to my hand. I can also get the whale if I really wanted to. But I did get a duplicate instead because I have Crystal Wing in my graveyard. So I'm going to use the effect of Hagota. Hagota is going to specimen itself. And then I'm going to use the effect, or I'm going to use these two to go into Crystal Wing. Ooh, I don't go into Crystal Wing. I think I go into Hydrate so I can out the Zeus. Because I realized that if I don't out the Zeus, or if I don't out his board, he can just attack over my Crystal Wing. Because it's not a level, it's a rank. So I wanted to go into Hagota to destroy his field, and then I have a Compulse for anything he has, because he doesn't have any follow-up. He has nothing. He really has nothing he can really do, and I do have follow-up for next turn. I can use the effect of Ultra Hound, return this, summon like, what's that card called? The Chambara, and then I can put more damage on the board. So, I'm going to go into battle phase, I'm going to attack, and I'm in a good spot right here. Like, I'm pretty much going to win this game. I topless into droplets, he ends turn, I go main phase, and then I'm just going to use Ultra Hound, summon the Chambara for my my extra deck, and then I'm going to use the effect of Hasty Horse to summon itself, and that's pretty much game on board. Yeah, so he lost because he Zeused his own board to kind of try to OTK, but he got ultra punished. So game 2, I have Ash, I have Duster, which is really good against his field because he only has like Fog Blades, and I can play through a lot of stuff. But as you're gonna see, like, he's gonna have a card that's like really powerful against my deck. So I only have Ash, which is like super bad. If I had like a Lancier or something, this would have been like way easier. Or if I had like a second hand trap, maybe I could have been in a better spot. But as you're gonna see, he's just gonna full combo off, and all I'm gonna have is an Ash, which I'm gonna hold for, I think, not the break sword, the Bardiche. So he's going to send the Skarm, so I know he has like Graph in his hand. So now he's gonna use the effect to special summon, and then he's gonna go into Bardiche. He's gonna use the effect of Bardiche. I'm gonna Ash that 100%. You always ask the Bardiche. You can ask like other stuff, but most of the time it's Bardiche. Ash is not really good against his deck because this deck just has so much. So now he uses the effect of not Break Sword. He uses the effect of the Torn Scales in the graveyard to specimen itself after he banished the Ragged Gloves. And now he's going to use the effect of Stain Greaves to specimen itself from the hand. I think he goes for Legionnaire, maybe? Legionnaire, yep. Legionnaire, or Leviair. I keep saying Legionnaire. Leviair, special summon the Ancient Cloak, and then he's going to use the effect to switch defense, let it gain attack, and then I think he's going to use the graveyard effect of the Trap card. He's going to special summon another Phantom Knight from his graveyard, and then he's going to go into Dante. I'm pretty sure. You go into Dante, definitely, or Break Sword. I guess Break Sword is probably better because you can get a trap in the graveyard and then revive it. So this is pretty good. I guess he already has follow-up in Skarm, so he doesn't really need to go into Dante. And now he just goes into Utopic Future, which is like a huge problem for my deck. Because not only does it like negates an effect, but it also stills the monster, which can be like super powerful against my deck. He searches the wing, sets 2, and passes. So this is like really good for him. So not only does he have like a Fog Blade, but he has like a negate that also stills the monster, and then he has a pop with the potential Bardiche. So I top deck into Ash. That's really bad. Maybe if I had another extender, it could have been really good. So I'm in a tight spot right now. So I have to out this Draco Future, and I have to have like a disruption for the potential tour guide. I have to like stop all the follow up in his grade. Like it's just not good for me right now. Like he just has way too much on his board. And as you're gonna see, I'm just gonna lose. I get a 2 on this, which is like also really bad. He goes Fog Blade, uses the effect to special summon out the Stain Greaves, which I don't really understand, but he does have another trap in the graveyard, which I guess I'm going to use the effect of the Takitomborg. I'm going to use the effect of Special Summon, I think, the Daikoduke, but he negates it, which is unfortunate. I think I normal summon the Terratop now, or maybe going to Rubber Band Shooter. I'm pretty sure I'm just lost right here. Like he has like Break Sword, Break Sword Pop with the Bardies, and then I'm going to normal summon the Terratop. I think I can potentially win here, but I burned through all of my my dices, and I don't have Daikoduke. If I had Daikoduke in the graveyard, I'm pretty sure I can like break his board and maybe possibly put up a negate. But he just has way too much in the graveyard, and I think I just lose here. So I go on a Rubber Band Shooter. I use the effect. I think I get Hound and yeah, Yo-Yo. And I say Hound 1, 2, 3. I think I want the Yo-Yo so I can get to whatever, but it doesn't really matter. I can just send Daikoduke with the Hound. I get Yo-Yo. I use Yo-Yo effect to get Dice. Dice is going to use this effect to change his level to level 2. And then I'm going to synchro off into the Cork Shooter, which is really good. Cork Shooter effect is going to special summon the Yo-Yo out in the Dice. Synchro those two into the Hygota, and then I'm going to go into the first Crystal Wing, and then I'm going to go into the Car Turbo. I think I should have went here. I should have went into the Kite Drake first. I should have went Kite Drake, remove all his monsters from the grave, but like I was just losing. I had to like hope he forgot like the Utopic Future, because I had no outs to it. As you're gonna see. And then I use the effect to have it gain attack, and then I attack over the Bardies. Like this is it's just pretty much game over. I'm not even gonna look at the rest of this replay. Basically, what happens is he has way too much follow up, and I just scoop after I realize it's just not really enough. So now game 3, I go first. Definitely really solid. I have a really good hand. Look at this hand. I have Terratop, I have Marble Machine. I have like, this is like insane. I have a extender. This is pretty much like a super strong starter that doesn't eat up my normal summon. I have a normal summon. I have a duplicate. I have an Ash. I have a Terratop. I mean a Takaton board, which is like one of the best extenders. So I should be making a really strong board. So I use the effect of Terratop. I'm gonna add Car Tool maybe, or maybe Yo-Yo. Add Car Turbo, 100%. Then I use the effect of Terratop or Takaton board to special summon out the Dice. And then Dice effect, I'm going to use both the Dice to make Cork. I think I use Cork effect to add, maybe. Maybe I use the effect to, yeah, I use the effect to add. So I can have another Compulse, because Compulse is really good against a Zeus deck. Or a deck that just links into like Cherubini or like Bardies. I can just put it right back into the deck. Then I use the effect of the Marbled Machine. I go into Yo-Yo. And then I go into Hygota, and then I go Car Turbo, and now I have, oh, he goes Nibiru. So he has Nibiru. It doesn't really matter, because now I have, that's what I was doing. I was playing around Nibiru, because if I just end with like 2 traps, he cannot play through two bounces plus an Ash. So what I figured is I need to use Cork to bait out either an Ash or a Veiler or an Imperm. And then if he does have Nibiru, I also have like 3 disruptions and follow up with Yo-Yo. So I was playing around with Nibiru the whole time, which is like really good. You can always play around Nibiru. I'm pretty sure if you have Terratop plus normal summon, or if you have the Marble Machine plus a level 3. So this is why I went this route, is because I'm playing around Nibiru as well as like Impermanent Ash. That's like really important with this deck, because a lot of the times you can like play super heavily into something like Imperm or Veiler if you just go for like the Link monster. If you focus way too heavy on the Link monster, or if you just like not search to duplicate with the effect of Cork Shooter. If you don't use that effect, you're playing very heavily into something like Nibiru, and you're not gonna have any disruption for your opponent on the following turn. So I ended with the best possible board through Nibiru and Imperm. So he goes Rhoda. I'm not really scared right now. Like, I have 2 Compulses. Like, even if he makes like a Cherubini, I just bounce it, and that's just really strong. So he goes tour guide, summons the Kagamucha. I summons the Graph, so I'm not really scared right now. I'm still not scared, even though he has the insane 2-card combo. Goes into Break Sword. I'm going to compulse this thing, so I'm going to banish the Take Tamborg. Banishing the right monsters with the duplicate is like really good for follow-up because the effect of the Chanbara being able to add any speedrun monster that's banished is like really good. So banishing like an extender or like a normal summon is like really important. So just keep that in mind. He's gonna link, or he's gonna use the effect of the Graph to summon Skarm, so he can get the effect in the end phase to have more follow up. And then he uses the Nibiru to out my token, which is really good. And then he sets 2 Fog Blades. He's pretty much in a good scenario right here. So he has Tour Guide and he passes turn. So he has 2 negates through like a compulse, which is like really good. But I do have the top tech Impermanent Ash. So now I have like so much. I have the Hagota in Graveyard. I have the Duplicate. I have the Yo-Yo. I have like a lot of stuff going on right now. And he also has a lot of stuff going on. So let's see how I play this out. I'm going to normal summon the Yo-Yo. He's going to use the Fog Blade. I think here maybe it's a possible misplay because I think I used the Trap card. So yeah, I used the Trap card to bounce his Fog Blade, which I think doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think I should have. I think I could have saved that. I think I should have saved that because I can use the effective Duplicate to go into I think I should have saved the Duplicate because I think that really cost me the game. But he does Fog Blade twice. It does bait out the double Fog Blade, which is like really good. But you're gonna see a really bad misplay here. It's not obvious, but it's gonna be a big misplay that costs me the game, pretty much. So I'm gonna go into Cork Shooter. Cork Shooter effect is going to add the Duplicate, which is really good. That's what I was saying, is that I can like bait out the Fog Blade by just using the effect of Cork Shooter, and then I can go into Crystal Wing, attack with the Nib token, and then I have a Compulse plus a Nib. But I mean, I guess it works out because I still get a Trap card at the end of the day. And then I go into Hagota, and then I go into Crystal Wing. So it's pretty much like the same thing. But I bounced the Fog Blade back into this hand. So that's like kind of bad. Because now I have to play around another Fog Blade, which is like super terrible. So I think I should have just like let him Fog Blade me. And then I can end on the Crystal Wing. But it wasn't guaranteed that he's going to Fog Blade the Cork Shooter. So I had to bounce maybe. But top deck's the Torrent Scales, which is like a really good top deck. He normal summons Torrent Scales. I think I bounced the Torrent Scales here, which is like really solid. Now, I think I'm in a decent spot here if I can get into a tuner maybe. So he passes his turn. I get into a tuner, which is like super good. This is like a super good top deck. And now I use the effect of Bogota, special summon itself. And now I think I try to go for some damage. And instead of battle phase, he goes Fog Blade on his own Kagemucha Knight, so he doesn't like die. Because if he Fog Blades like say if he like Fog Blades the wings, or not the Crystal Wing, I just attack with the Daiko Duke and I do 2,000. Now he's at 3,000 and I potentially have like 2 disruptions here. So I think he like tried to like survive, and I don't think he was aware of like any of the speedrun cards or what they do. So he's kind of scared to like get OTK. So I think he just went with the safe route of like Fog Blading his own monsters so he doesn't die. Then he passes his turn. He goes draw, and he top decks into Nib, which is like super big. I don't think it's that big, but yeah. So here is where I'm in a super duper bad spot. He goes Terabini, right? I think here is where the compulse would be nice. Like, oh, man, this is so bad right here. I think I had to save my compulse for this Cherubini, because this Cherubini can protect itself, with the effect of Fall Blade, and now like the Cherubini also protects like any other monster on the field. So now Crystal Wing is not gonna get rid of anything on the board, and as you're gonna see, like this is gonna be very very bad for me because I only have an Impermanent Ash, and like these cards don't really do much against like this. Once like the PK engine gets rolling, like Imperm Ash doesn't really do nothing against his deck. So I think the most important thing you're gonna take out of this is like Compulse is like super super good against like PK. So he uses the effect of Seer. Seer is also going to be protected by his Cherubini, which is like really bad. He goes into Break Sword. Break Sword is going to use his effect to pop. I'm going to use Imperm on it just to like negate the effect. Goes in, adds with the Cloak. Cloak is going to add a Phantom Knight monster or spell and trap card. Use the effect, maybe, yeah, the special summon the Silent Boots. And then I think he goes into Isolt here. Yeah, he goes into Isolt. This is where I kind of misplayed, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, I'm in a very bad spot with Cherubini being able to stop any of his monsters from being destroyed. So, at this point, I have only Ash in my hand. Like, there's nothing I can really do at this point. And I think I have a Crystal Wing negate, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, at this point, like, I'm just like, man, this game is over. Like, the Cherubini was, like, super powerful. He goes Bardiche, I go Ash. Hopefully he can stop me from dying, but, like, this is, like, super, super bad. He adds the wings. He goes Lynx into Unicorn, and this is where I'm like, man, it's just game. It's just game, dude. He unicorns my grave, or he unicorns my Crystal Wing, and then he special summons the Break Sword from the graveyard, and then Break Sword's gonna pop with the Bardiche, and then he's gonna attack directly for game because he does have another Fog Blade, I think, in the graveyard. Yeah, so he's gonna just attack for game with this on board, or I think this is just game on board. So yeah, I just lose that outright. And something to take away from this is that, like, you definitely have to save these compulses against, like, at least the PK matchup, because, like, I burnt through all of my compulses, and I think the best possible way, I think, like, the last duplicate could have been used a lot better, because I could have just, like, negated his Torn Scales with something like whatchamacallit, with the Crystal Wing, and I think I was scared of the potential discard of a Phantom Knight, and I could have just negated that Phantom Knight with the other Crystal Wing. So I think I definitely played this a little bad at the end, but it was really, really hard to say, right? It's just really, really hard. It, like, doesn't, like, this is such a grind game, and it's just really hard to say at the end of the day. And I don't really punch myself too hard on, like, misplaying it, because, like, it was just like a super super weird scenario where I had 4 disruptions. What am I gonna be scared of? And then, like, Cherubini just, like, mitigates all of those negates, because Cherubini just stops everything from being destroyed. So in hindsight, I should have just kept the last compulse for his Cherubini and just use my Crystal Wing negates and not play around the droplets, because I just lose super hard to something like Cherubini. Is something just to take out of this. Other than that, like, I did very, very well against the PK deck. And, like, I was in, like, a very, very good spot the whole entire game until he made Cherubini. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This video is super, super duper long. It's probably, like, 30 minutes plus. But I did want to go over this replay so you can kind of learn the matchups and, like, how to play this deck. Because this deck is very, very, very hard to play, like playing through hand traps, playing through like multiple disruptions like Fog Blade. Like, it's just, like, very, very, very hard to kind of, like, play against, like, these grindier matchups like PK. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I rambled on too long. This video is probably, like, super super long, and I'm out. Peace.